One, anti-Indian tirade, and second, this exploding Hindu phobia in America. What is the reason? I put forth those 7 questions for all of your benefit.
Well, I think one has to look at it in a slightly historical context and the situation today. I think all this while the Indian communities everywhere, more or less, have been very welcome, not only for their ability and the jobs and the excellence of their qualifications, but also for their ability to assimilate, ability to adjust with the local population, and their ability to actually work hard and not to indulge in any crime. They're not prone to crime at all. They're not at all prone to any kind of racial crime or job-related crime or religion-based crime, nothing of the kind, because they keep very much to themselves and they are very good at their work, and so they're welcome. Now, I think that now in recent years, this has been changed. It has been changed slightly. Number one, the rise of right-wing governments coming to power, the rise of the conservative philosophy, which has been anti-immigrant all along. That is one reason that that the question of anti-immigration has come up in a big way. Secondly, I think particularly if you see in America right now, after the victory of President Donald Trump, and somebody like Charlie Kirk, for example, an extremely popular MAGA leader who was tragically assassinated recently, he was very, very anti-Indian in his statements. And this has led to a huge repercussion among the MAGA supporters in their anti-Indianism. And this has led to a huge rise in anti-Indianism in America because of this. And he spoke against the Indian community because of H-1B visas. He spoke against them about taking away jobs. And all this is now reflected in President Trump's decision to raise the rate to $100,000 for an H-1B visa. But then we saw a very quick reaction to that, and they quickly adjusted it and said, okay, it's
Okay.
only a one. So that's one reason. I think the second reason, I think on American campuses particularly, is the combination of the Islamist right with the left democratic woke philosophy on university campuses. This has led to a huge increase in Hindu phobia in the syllabus of the way the Hinduism is studied on campuses, their view on Hinduism, and this has led to a real difference on Indian campuses, where even this whole question of caste, which came up, and introducing a study of caste in American textbooks, and this was opposed strongly by the Indian community. So this was another big
Okay.
reason.
So basically, you are saying, madam, that it's a marriage of the Islamist right plus the left liberal in the campus. Ambassador
Yes.
Mukherjee, uh, is it only about jobs, or is it about the prosperity of the Indian Americans? And even within the Indian Americans can be Muslims, they can be Sikhs, they can be Christians, they can be Jews, they can be anyone. But in specific, Hindu institutions are under attack. So your opening comments on why, and is it only about cultural difference, or it's just boiling down to pure play jobs?
In the first instance, Kartikeya, I would urge that we do not talk about anti-Hindu sentiment, because when you do that, you are actually making it much more difficult by dividing up the Indian diaspora in these places. Please call them anti-Indian sentiments, because among those who have been targeted are people from different religions, including Sikhs, Christians, etc. Secondly, it is directly connected with prosperity of the Indian diaspora, particularly in the United States, and the Indian diaspora all over have not accommodated the, those parts of the Indian of their host country, all the land, like servants of land.
As a Mukherjee, we'll need to fix the audio with you. Savio Rodriguez, your opening comments.
Thank you, Kartikeya, for having invited me on this discussion with two lovely former ambassadors. Uh, I think the problem is a little more deeper than we are trying to really give that kind of focus on it. And that deep aspect of it links with the strength of the Islamic radical lobby in America at this point of time, or in other European nations at this point of time. And that is essentially what I see as the problem. Now, if the Islamic lobby wants to show that it's the victim from amongst the immigrant population in the US, it needs to find a villain. And that is why I believe it is the Hindu or the Indian who's seen as the villain vis-a-vis the Islamic lobby that you have from other parts of the world, that is Pakistan, Palestine, and all these key places. So I believe a lot of the attacks you're seeing on the Hindu population in America and in other parts of the world as well is only going to intensify, it's only going to increase because they're going to make the Hindus, they're going to make the Indians as the villains, particularly the Hindus. And that is something that is a very coverted attempt by the Islamic lobby, by the left lobby, and those who want to use make America great again, they need to find a reason to put a blame on somebody else that America is not great again. And they're going to do that with the Indians, in particular the Hindus. So we need to be extremely clear. We need to be extremely precise on what the problem is. The problem is the American people, on their own accord, have allowed Indian immigration, and that immigration has grown over the last several decades and has done well and successful in America. But suddenly the Indians have been made the villain. Now, why is India being made the villain? And you will realize that India has been made a villain primarily because the Islamic lobby is far more stronger in lobbying for their rights and their strengths in America than the Indian lobby itself. So today, if you look at somebody that the government has hired by the name of Mr. Miller or whoever this gentleman is, if you see and read his document as well, he does not guarantee any level of lobbying. He's just a lobbyist, and that is where I think we are making an error. Because if you see, even during the Shaheen Bagh or even during the farmer law protests, when they put a huge ad out in the New York Times, it were the Muslim organizations that are pampered in the US that were actually the funders of that ad of on Shaheen Bagh and the farmer protest in India. So let's be honest about one thing, and this is a thing I've raised with the government as well. We do not, as a nation, as India, or as people of a majority religion coming out of India, which is Sanatana Dharma and Hinduism, have a lobbying arm in America that is effective. And that is where the problem starts. And therefore, expect yourself to get more targeted over there.
Okay. Ambassador Siki, there are a lot of people who say, and, you can differ with me, that our diaspora is getting radicalized. Is this correct?
No, I don't think that Indian diaspora is getting radicalized. In fact, I agree with Mr. Rodriguez that the Islamic lobby is very strong, and their number one target is the Hindu lobby. That is the biggest lobby. I think after the Jewish lobby, they are really after they chase the Hindu lobby the most, and the Jewish lobby they cannot attack because that lobby is very strong and very well entrenched, and it's difficult for them to penetrate that opposition. So this is one task that the Islamic lobby, the Islamist lobby all over the world has set for itself. And certainly they are backed by the Pakistanis in a big way. When you say Islamist lobby, you must know that there's a lot of Pakistan and ISI money pouring into that. We know in Canada, for example, that the Islamist lobby and the Pakistan lobby are one. And they've joined up with the Khalistanis to oppose, the Indian community in every respect whatsoever, in every respect.